Good morning. I am so excited to see all these faces. There's lots of people here that I already know and some of you that I'm going to get to know. Well, welcome to Any Steps Half-Day Symposium. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, compassionate leadership. Now, that's really important in a nonprofit, but it's important in any type of venture, whether you have a for-profit venture, a corporate socially responsible organization like PepsiCo and Frito-Lay, whether you work in the health services, whatever you do, compassionate leadership is what you need. So before we get started, we have a special guest that I'd like to call up, LaShayla Mitchum. She's with United Way, and she wanted to speak to you before we get started.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sydney. Good morning, PepsiCo Frito-Lay team. I know I'm on my first cup of coffee as well. I said good morning, PepsiCo Frito-Lay team. Yes, today is perhaps one of my favorite days of the year because PepsiCo shows up and shows out for PepsiCo Day of Caring. And so I just want to thank Sydney and her team with Any Steps for providing an opportunity for us to give back and for us to have the opportunity to impact the communities in which we serve. And so, Celebrate, today is also another special day because it is our 100th centennial kick. Yes. So United Way will be celebrating 100 years of impact and getting energized for the next 100 years. And so our kickoff tonight will be at the AT&T Discovery District where Stephen Williams, who is our chair for this centennial campaign. So if you did not get your invitation or perhaps thought it was spam, it's a thing, it's going on, you wanna be there, it's a family fun event to celebrate the impact and the change that's happening in North Texas. And so, just as a reminder, this is PepsiCo's 15th year doing PepsiCo Day of Caring. So let's clap it up for 15 years. And so just like you have over 1,300 colleagues across 32 different sites in North Texas that are contributing to the amazing work that organizations like Any Step are doing. And so your time, your talent is very important and very greatly appreciated. Any Step's mission is to really serve the whole person, especially our older adults, or what I like to call our veterans in life, right? They have some experience. And so their goal is to serve the whole person by providing access to education and nutrition, health and wellness with dignity, and enhancing socialization for our veterans in life. And so I love these types of activations because not only do you get the opportunity to learn more about the amazing work and the amazing goals that Any Step has, you also get to go shopping for someone that you may never even meet. And I think that is exciting, not only because it's an intentional opportunity to serve, but when I'm doing these types of activations, I think about not only meeting the need of a neighbor, but I think about the hope that they will feel that someone that they don't even know cares so much to consider them. And so as you're serving and learning today, I encourage you guys to continue the amazing work that you are doing, assisting our communities to thrive and being a part of the change that is happening in North Texas. That is all for me today. Y'all enjoy today and celebrate because this is a very special, momentous occasion. 15 years serving in North Texas, that is amazing work. So thank you guys.
So we have several treats for you today. One of the things that is important to me is how we are with our customers. Any Step has what we call stepping stones, which are our core values, and they are balance, understanding, integrity, love, and dignity. And this is how we not only treat the people that we serve, but our volunteers, our stakeholders, anyone that comes into contact with us. And the purpose of this symposium is really not to advertise any step, it is to collaborate with others in the community. Because one thing is very certain to me is that we cannot do this alone. We have a great mission that I believe that AnyStep has, but each of you has a sacred and unique purpose that is for you. And so this leadership symposium, if you have that in your heart, it's for you. So with one of our core values being balance, I put a lot of focus on self-care, on making sure that we don't wear ourselves out, because you cannot give from an empty tank. And in keeping with that, we have a special guest who's going to go through a mindfulness exercise with you. But before I bring her up, I want to tell you a little bit about her. We met at a business booster. She was the person that was seated at the table, and when I walked in, she had this look like, come on down. So I sat with her, and we decided that we would be sisters and cousins for life. And that's how we address each other, sister cuz. We check on each other all the time. She has this incredible personality, and I'm gonna check my notes to make sure I tell you about her organization properly. She is the CEO and founder of an organization called Mommy to Be, and Me mobile application. What this is a parent pulse portal which partners with single parents to help them be the very best that they can be. She's very dedicated to recognizing the full potential within individuals and guiding them toward a purpose-driven mission where they achieve their utmost potential and uncover their healthiest and most authentic series. She is an incredible person. Her goal is to create a positive impact on one parent, one child, one community at a time, catalyzing global change. Before you leave here, there are some flyers on the back that we have that talk about her organization, talk about AnyStep that I would like you to take as you leave. I wanted to tell you some interesting facts about her, and I got to read it to make sure I say it right. Masako is an Army veteran. She's a mathematician. She's a health and wellness educator. She's a fitness expert. She has 25 years of experience working with different age groups and socioeconomic backgrounds in family health and wellness. And this is my favorite fact. She is a former women's international welterweight boxing champion. Yeah, this is a powerful woman. So I want to welcome Masako May to the stage, or to the front of the room, whatever this is. Come on, girl.
Years. Thank you.
Thanks, cuz.
Thanks, Sister Cuz. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? First of all, I want to thank Sydney and AnyStep community for inviting me out, because I feel as though when we encounter ourselves and when we encounter everyone that we meet day to day, we are encountering their first traumatic experience that they have unhealed. So as a compassionate leader and building compassionate leaders, if we could encounter one another as our spirit self, as our absolutely whole self, with no humanistic challenges and traumas and dramas, then perhaps we could meet one another with love and compassion so we can see one another for the greatest gifts that we have within ourselves. So this morning, I'm going to take you through a lovely practice. I feel as though you're going to love it as well. So I would ask each of you to make sure that your phones are on Do Not Disturb, if you will, and then sit in your chairs facing the table. Please, as I take you through this process. Okay, sit up in your chairs. Lift, roll your shoulders back and relax. Feet down on the ground, soles to the feet, soles of your shoes to the ground. Placing the palm of your hands on your knees, just above your thighs, palms face upward. Closing your eyes, I would like you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhaling through your nose. Let's do that again. Breathing in deep through your nose, eyes shut down, This time on your inhale, I want you to bring your shoulders up toward your ears. Pressing your shoulders down on your exhale. For the third time, inhale, bringing your shoulders up to your ears. Breathing in, exhale, dropping your shoulders with the large exhale. Now imagine with me for a moment that you are surrounded in a field of unconditional love. This unconditional love may be a love you had experienced from a loved one, maybe a grandparent, a best friend. Any moment that you may have felt loved and you did not have to give anything in return simply for feeling this love. This love is the love of God, also known as unconditional love. With our minds quiet, we relax, letting go, thinking of the love of God and God's love for us. I would like for you to repeat in a whisper to yourself. I fully and freely forgive myself for whatever I may have done or may have wanted to do that did not go my way. I fully and freely forgive anyone that may have harmed me, rubbed me the wrong way, hurt me in any way. I fully and freely forgive. I release myself and I release them mentally and spiritually. I completely forgive everything that is connected with the matter and matters in question. I am free. They are free. This is a marvelous feeling. It is my general day of amnesty. I release anyone and everyone who has ever hurt me. I wish for each and everyone health, happiness, peace, and all the blessings of life. And as I am in this space of unconditional love, I ask myself, what is the highest and best vision for my life? What do I already have that will help me get to this place of my highest and best vision of my life? What do I have that no longer serves this next vision of my life? Whatever it is, I surrender it, I let it go. It may be conversations, it may be old thought patterns, it may be old ways of doing things. I release it and I let it go. I surrender it. And I say yes to my next best vision of who I am and what I am to do in this life of mine. It is already happening. I declare it so. And so it is. And in this space, I want you to turn the corners of your mouth up into a smile, taking a deep breath, exhaling, opening your eyes, saying yes and thank you to you. And so it is. go throughout this day, enjoy being your best self and doing what you have been called to do in this life. Thank you so much.
So, how do you feel? Did any of you doze off? I got in on the last part of it, the part where she told us to inhale and raise our shoulders up, and I'm like, my shoulder already up. And so that's what my chiropractor always says, you're so tense through here. Honestly, I don't really take a lot of time for myself, and what that has done for me isn't really good. But as I'm focusing on more self-care and mindfulness, I also visit this on my staff and my volunteers. My program director is here, Angie Pierce. Can you wave? I am consistently asking her, when did you schedule your downtime? I actually didn't know that it was okay to take a break. For those of you who know me well, know that I'm a lunatic when it comes to working. Just to give you a little glimpse into my life, we recently moved into a new house. It didn't start out that way. We found that there was mold in our home, and so it made me really ill. Had to have got to go to the hospital for a terrible asthma attack, and so I was down for about a week. And long story short, we decided to sell the house instead, and we found a buyer who gave us the exact amount of money that we wanted, but the kicker was he wanted us out in 3.5 weeks. Well, he actually wanted us out in 2 weeks, but my husband wrestled him into 3.5 weeks. Now remember, I've had a severe asthma attack, and so I'm down for a week. We lived in our house for 24 years. I don't think I ever threw anything away. I think I just kept everything. So we had to be out of the house in 3.5 weeks. We had to find a new house and close on a new house in 3.5 weeks. So that was the first week in August. We actually need to be in our new house by the 29th of August. So do you think we were in our new house by the 29th of August? Oh, yes, we were. Oh, yes, we were. The bedrooms and the bathrooms were completely unpacked on the first day. We just had, a week ago, we just had our housewarming party because this lunatic unpacked the entire house. We've been in the house for 5 weeks, and my house is completely unpacked. That's nothing to be proud of, actually. That means I almost killed myself. Fortunately, I have friends who help. Lots of friends who help and came over and unpacked and stuff like that. But I mean, the bulk of it, my husband will tell you, what'd you say I was a beast when it comes to unpacking? I'm a beast when it comes to unpacking. Oh, and for those of you who don't know, Sherman Diggs, the president of any step, and your employee also is my husband. So he can speak for me. Yeah, that's. So this portion, I want to give you guys an opportunity to kind of talk with each other, but I want to ask you to do something first. I would like each of you to go to the snack table and pick out a snack for your neighbor to the right without asking them what they want or if they want a snack. So go get it. Go get a snack. Anything you want. Over there. Do not tell them what you want. Just get it.
I know, I have like icon.
Mush, mush. Come on, guys. Let me offer an apology. Let me offer an apology for anything that I purchased over there that was not Pepsi or Frito-Lay. I'm sorry.
We won't admit that we like it.
This is causing.
Okay. Okay, so does everyone have a snack? Okay, if you look in the center of the table, there's a slip of paper that has some questions on it. You don't have any?
I have a receipt.
That's not what it's supposed to be.
When you return travel all these data motions up one of like page. But not it.
I have a solution. I have the questions, okay? First question, did you get the snack you wanted? I mean, the person who gave it to you, did they give you the snack you wanted? You don't have to write them down unless you want to. Hey guys. I'm a former college professor, sorry for that. Okay, come back to me. So who didn't get the snack they wanted? Only one person? Okay. For those of you who did not get the snack that you wanted, why do you think this particular snack was selected for you? Speak up, okay? I can't hear you. Why do you think you got the snack that was selected for you?
Me?
Yeah, anybody. This is a group conversation.
I feel like I got the snack selected for me because I appear to be health conscious and I imagine blueberry buffets that have content. Or do they say it? I thought.
Amy, you didn't get the snack you wanted?
I would say it was because my chooser doesn't notice, so there's no way that they could have.
So, did you like selecting a snack for your neighbor? Of course you did. Who doesn't want to give to someone? So, did you like the fact that someone else selected your snack?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind.
Please.
Nice.
That's interesting. I would not want anyone to select a snack for me.
It creates garbage.
It does. But if I were hungry and I really needed a snack, I would not want someone to select this. There's a purpose. Yes, ma'am.
That's what I was gonna say. I was saying I'm hungry, and so they're like, "Oh, there's behind it. Is it matter?"
So you didn't need a snack. That's interesting. One of our core concepts is understanding. Imagine yourself going into a community and assessing the needs and giving the community what you think they need. It's kind of hit or miss, right? It couldn't be people are going to be grateful, but there's going to be some people that's going to be like, I actually don't need you to give me food. Maybe you need to teach me how to cook healthy food or something like that. The whole point of this is that I think we make a mistake in trying to serve the community by assuming that we know what's needed without actually first getting into the community and finding out what they need. And I think if we took this attitude on, we would do a lot better. And so that's another reason we do these symposiums, so that for our collective works, whether they're diverse or not, we will all have the same mindset. Because if we create a solution where someone wins, then we all win, because we're all trying to be successful in something. I don't have to know your individual desires and needs to know that you want to be successful in something. But it's just something to think about. So balance is what we talked about at the first one of these symposiums. The second thing we talked about is understanding who you're serving. I think that I don't work for Frito-Lay, but I could guess that you guys try to create chips that people want. And you do taste tests and test the market, and then you produce what people want. You wouldn't be very successful if you just decided, like me, if I could have a chip, I could envision a chip that tastes like popcorn, but isn't puffy, that doesn't have the husk, that gives me the same satisfaction as popcorn. There isn't one like that. How many of you would like that? You see, no, it's not the same. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm looking for. I've tried them. That's not what I'm looking for. But you see, I said, who else would want one of those? Nobody raised their hand. You would. Okay, but the rest of you wouldn't want that. Do you understand what I'm getting at? That we can't assume for people what they want, what I want for snacks. When I was pregnant with my first child, my favorite snack was strawberry ice cream with popcorn stirred in it, washed down with pickle juice. What? You guys don't think that's good?
Want to get you?
Yeah, if we can get a chip that tastes like that. Wow. No, I'm kidding. So,
Oh, great.
at this point, what I really want to, I'm doing the college professor thing. Okay, I got the floor back. That's what I need to do. So the first symposium that we had, we discussed balance, we discussed understanding. What this particular symposium is going to talk about is we're going to talk about integrity, and we're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about highlighting the need for a clear and focused mission. We aim to excel in every single thing that we do, and we need to demonstrate genuine care for the community, our stakeholders, and our collaborative partners. So at this point, I want to introduce you our keynote speaker. I'm excited about having her stand in front of you. I asked one of my mentors to lead me in the direction of someone who could speak about compassionate leadership. And the first name she gave me was a minister that was well known in the community, but the second name that she told me right away was Cessilye Smith. And I'm like, oh, really? She is powerful. Let me tell you a little bit about her, and I'm going to look at her bio to make sure I don't miss anything. I have everything inside of me but that. Aha. Cessilye Smith is the visionary founder and CEO of Abide Women's Health Services that is dedicated to transforming birth outcomes in underserved communities. Abide provides accessible, holistic, and evidence-based healthcare and support services, all while fostering a judgment-free environment. Under Cecilye's leadership, Abide Women's Health Services was established in 2017 in South Dallas. She's become a pivotal force in maternal justice in South Dallas. She has achieved a 501c3 status in 2008, and her organization has received profound recognition as a perinatal safe spot, an accredited easy access clinic through Common Sense Childbirth, Inc., and is set up to open a new birth center. Cecilye's vision extends to honoring the legacy of Black midwives and expanding their role in the community, as evidenced by the 5 scholarships awarded to student midwives of color in 2022. In her role as an innovative nonprofit, Cessilye manages diverse responsibilities, which includes major fundraising efforts such as a $2.5 million capital campaign, clinical operations, and program development. With 2 decades of leadership experiences and nearly a decade as a maternal and racial justice activist, Cecilye's personal challenges with conception and pregnancy deeply fuel her commitment to justice and systematic change. Her work is guided by the principles of rest, resist, and restore. Her impactful work has been recognized with the 2021 Rising Leader Fellowship from Sojourners and the Open Society Foundation, and an honorable mention for the 2020 Juanita Craft Humanitarian Visionary Award. Cessilye has been featured on ABC News, including Nightline, the Center for Public Justice, and numerous podcasts and media outlets. Cessilye was named a Public Voice Fellow by the Op-Ed Project in 2022. Her nonprofit was named the Nonprofit of the Year by DCEO Magazine in 2020, and she serves on various boards and committees, which includes the Best Southwest Partnership and the Birth Center Week Committee. She's gotten so many awards. I'm not even going to list the rest of them. But while she holds all these titles and honors, and she's a founder and a CEO and an advocate, she considers the most fulfilling role to be the mother to her 4 children. Which one of them that she has with her? and a wife to her husband, Raymond. And there's more information you can get from Cecilye, but with that, I want to offer a round of applause in advance and invite her to the stage.
Thank you, Sydney.
Hi. How are y'all doing today? Y'all ready for this day of service? Yeah, y'all seem to have a lot of energy. Yeah. We gotta figure this out. Do I put this in the? Yeah, you just turn it off. Here.
Thanks. Okay.
So while we're getting this set up, first of all, I just want to thank you, Sydney. Thank you. Thank you so much for providing the opportunity for me to come and speak. This is like one of my favorite things to do is just to talk about leadership and about the work that I do with Abide. But while we are waiting for this to get set up, you have some paper on your table. And one of the things that I want you all to do amongst yourselves, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that I want you to answer and talk amongst yourselves. And then I'm going to kind of call on you. Like maybe nominate a speaker of the table, a couple speakers of the table. Let me see. Let's see. So one of the first question, there's two questions. There's two questions I want you to discuss amongst yourselves at the table. And the first is, how would you describe yourself as a leader in one word? And the second one is, what would you say is the most challenging part of leadership? So think about it and then talk about it amongst yourselves. I'll repeat. How would you describe yourself as a leader in one word? What would you say is the most challenging part of leadership? That's such a too bad. Perfect. Thank you, Renee. You're appreciated. And so while you're doing that, so this is me. I'm just a little girl right there with a bunch of ponytails all over my head. And I was so shy when I was a kid. But I was I would say probably around middle school is where I found my voice. That's when I was like standing up for friends that were being bullied and all the things. But I had no idea that I was going to evolve into a leader. I don't really go around saying I'm a leader. I mean, does anyone else hold the title of leader? Like, do you say I'm a leader? Do other people say you're a leader? Raise your hand if other people see you as a leader. Okay, what about you? Do you consider yourself a leader? And I mean, not in a like, I kind of want to cuss. I'm the, you know what I'm saying? But like, do you consider yourself, I got some good leadership skills. Raise your hand if you like, okay, there we go. Okay, all right, cool. So this next picture, that's my family. So these are my 4 munchkins. Emmanuel, I'm sorry to embarrass you. I don't mean it. Just go ahead and hide underneath that blanket. It's okay. So the reason why I'm showing you these images is because I want you all to know that I'm a human. Like I may be, people may consider me a leader, and I may have some leadership qualities, but at the end of the day, I'm just like y'all. I'm a human being. I got 4 kids. I got a husband. We got a mortgage, and we just go through life every day just being a human. And I think oftentimes we end up putting people on pedestals. And when they let you down,
it really sucks because we have to remember that everyone is just, at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing, just kind of operate going through life. So you just kind of think about some people that you may put on a pedestal. Think about any person in politics or celebrity or whatever that you may think that's a good leader, or you may kind of be shy around if you were to be in their presence. I need you to remind you that they're human just like you. They have everyday lives just like you. So let's knock those pedestals down. And also, while we're at the same time knocking the pedestals down, we're also like looking at ourselves as worthy. Okay? You may put people on a pedestal, but I would say kind of both. Either knock the pedestal down or stick yourself up there with them. We're all on an even playing field. Okay? So that's why I'm going to just bringing you in a little bit. Now, as far as a little bit of my background, she read my bio on everything, and you know, it takes me a minute. I actually had to be reminded to stop and to like accept the wins whenever there are wins. You know, I'm usually just I just keep going. Like we may have, you know, gotten a significant grant or something, and I'm like, yay, moving on, you know, moving to the next thing. And so I have to be reminded to like stop and like celebrate, you know, the wins in life. I want to tell you a little bit about my leadership style. I have a tendency, I would describe myself, because I want to hear hear y'all's words, as a compassionate and empathetic leader. And I would also describe myself as a recovering people pleaser. Any people pleasers in the house? Any people pleasers in the house? Oh, okay, all right. So if we're talking about compassionate leadership and you are a people pleaser, there's some issues we have to address. And I came across this, when I was doing a little bit of research, I came across this statement, and I found it to be really profound. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Don't stop pressing the wrong thing, Cecily. Let me. Uh-oh. There we go. People pleasing is just a soft way of saying I'm abandoning myself. That's deep, right? I'm kind of. Like, think about it. It's deep, right? It's like, oh,
That's what it is.
is it? Right?
You are giving up of yourself and you're trying to please so many people, but you're abandoning who you are. I have a history, and I've been talking to so many people about this lately, about how I've given of myself so much that oftentimes I don't even know, like, who am I? Like, who am I? And am I worthy? You know? So anytime you get into that groove of trying to please others, remember that you have value too. Again, we're going to going back to value. You know? You have value too, so don't abandon yourself.
Let's see here. Next. So we're going to popcorn it. This is a question. What makes a good leader? Anyone? What makes a good leader?
Vision.
Vision.
Say again?
Passion, vision, passion,
Approachability.
approachability. Oh, good. Ability to listen,
Sacrifice.
sacrifice,
Empathy.
empathy. Ooh, those are good. These are juicy. Keep it coming.
Oh, influence.
Influence. Someone said follower.
Yeah.
That's accountability, right?
Accountability.
Accountability. Y'all are these are good. These are very good descriptors of leadership. Because in order for you to lead, you also have to be able to. In order for you to be a good leader, you have to be able to feel,
empathize. Have you ever worked in anywhere where you feel devalued? Or how about a dehumanizing environment? Yeah. How about where you just feel like a number? Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to go back to the two questions that I asked. How would you describe yourself as a leader in one word? And what would you say is the most challenging part of leadership? So let's have a speaker. Let's take it table by table. What table wants to go first? I will call on you. Oh, boom, right here. Right here. Do you need like another minute? I think we needed like. Yeah, okay. Take a moment to discuss, and I did just because we got it up and then I interrupt y'all's flow. So take a few minutes to marinate on those two questions and we'll circle back around.
Shift is an internal expectation. I think that's just really difficult. I don't think most leaders can get that. They just have
So there's a minute to getting your one chance at once. Like directly to yourself.
I pictured it as a couple, but I was thinking like an
Patient is that you have one to temper what is
you may know that all the right other coworkers may not be expectations are like some it was
probably big. What you say is just thinking
Seekers of compassion and less fellows.
Are y'all about ready? I'll give you 60 seconds.
Just remember you can't.
There was another challenging part of leadership.
All right, which table's ready? You'll go? Okay.
So I'll start by reading that our table came up with to describe ourselves.
You're gonna read each word?
Yeah, this is one word per person. We had one person said open, another said visionary, another one said executioner, meaning not executing, like getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
We had two people describe themselves as empathetic. Another person said relentless, and another person said reliable. So we used both words. But I think, a lot of what sums up what our table was saying is like expectations, right? Like expectations of like internal expectations that might seem too high, trying to help other people reach not just your expectations, but also like the potential that they could get. That's a challenge. Balancing your own needs was another one, like expectations you might have for yourself was another one. Trying to innovate while meeting current expectations can be tough because people don't want to budge, right? They know their way and it works, or they think it works.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it was a lot about empowering people too. We were talking a lot about how it can be tough to do that when they might not be able to see their own potential yet.
Right. Oh, this is good. This is good. Are these things that you've witnessed within the workforce yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, good. Thank y'all for sharing. Who's next? Yeah, go for it.
All right, so a few of the words that we came up for leadership, we've got a few good ones. Adaptable, approachable, passionate, empathetic. So we had a lot of good words thrown around to describe leadership. For the most challenging part, we said a good about like making decisions that are going to impact others. So this kind of feeds into the people pleasing, knowing that you're not going to be able to please everyone, but still trying to take whatever goal oriented you're going towards, still being able to make a decision that's going to impact others and try to make the best one. We also said letting people learn how to fail. So what I really like this, we came with a little tagline from Sarah, sink or swim with compassion. No more like it.
Nice.
So we said building passion within your team, building that motivation, while also building your own self-confidence to lead, judgment of others' abilities and their strengths, so that way you can build the best team and take everyone to success.
Oh, this is rich. I'm glad this has been recorded. I mean, it's on the mic. Okay, good. This is all so good. Thank you all.
Sure. So looking at a handful of different descriptors: supportive, understanding, ethical, and empathetic. And a lot of our leadership challenges are really driven around the balance. So being able to balance diverse backgrounds and needs of your team with what the expectations are for completing goals, as well as balancing just your team's priorities with what, as a customer service team, what your customers are expecting.
Balance is tough.
Yeah.
I honestly have a hard time believing that you can actually balance. It's more so about having boundaries. Which I don't have. I'm working on it. But I feel like it's more attainable to create boundaries than to create that balancing effect. Because it's always like, okay. But no, that's good. Thank you all.
Okay, the words we used were leading by example, considerate, compassionate, and thoughtful leadership. And then the challenge was just going back to the people pleasing, knowing that everyone's not going to be happy with your decisions, managing different personalities. then also dealing with critique for people on the outside who aren't really offering solutions.
Critique without solutions is not fun. It's like, come on, bring me some solutions now. No, this is good. Thank you all.
Cool, yeah. So regarding the words, the 2 words we came up with were empathy and compassion, which we thought was really cool because that's the 2 words to describe yourself. So those are just a funny little coincidence. And thinking about the challenging part of the leader, it relates to what a lot of us are saying. First thing is letting go of that individual mindset. So you're with a team. How can you start to think about the collective good rather than the individual good? So what is a collective good when there's so many variables and so many things to possibly take account of, and at the end of the day, sometimes you have to make hard decisions. Secondly, choosing people with multiple perspectives. In a groups, you have people with all kinds of personalities, all kinds of ways of thinking, and having to balance, different, because you have to approach people differently, and kind of going through that. And then one kind of discussion question we had was that we were really curious when you're getting other people's perspective. Is how can you feel this way about people pleasing while also being a compassionate person? And not necessarily if they go against each other, but if you think people pleasing is abandoning yourself, but you still want to be a compassionate person, it's a hard balance and trying to balance both.
Yeah. It's hard. I wish I had the answer.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to do. But I think this is why we're actually talking about this, so that we can flesh it out, so that we can help support each other as a collective, So, no, that's good. Thank you.
We threw out similar words. We threw out leading by example, empathy, and then Renju went in catalyst, which she's proud of. And then some challenges we did mention were confidently leading people of higher tenure and or have more experience than us, as well as diverse groups. It can be really hard to maintain that confidence while you're displaying your decision in front of people who have 20 to 30 years of experience. It can be pretty daunting. So that's a big challenge we face. And then Bryn also mentioned being comfortable challenging your team. She said if it's not challenging to you, it's not changing you.
Ooh, write that down. No, that's good. So, y'all are pretty amazing. This is amazing. Can y'all give yourselves a? This is really good. Y'all are saying some really juicy stuff that I feel like is needed in the workforce. I'm hearing so much. It seems across the board you all are compassionate. You want and desire a compassionate leader. So tell me this, as you are working through all of these descriptors of what a good leader is, how can you integrate that into your current role? Are the things that you're saying right now, are you living that out? Are you living that out right now? Or is it something that you're working on? Okay. You're like, yep, I'm doing it. Yes, I'm looking at you. Okay, so tell me this, and it doesn't have to be your current position at Relay. Think about an older, a former job or whatever. If you could go back to a former job, career, or whatnot, and you were in a toxic environment, what are some things that you would change, using the tools that you know now and the leader that you know you are today, how would you bring about change in that former role? It might be kind of hard.
Sort of looking at ourselves from third person, looking, what would I do differently?
Yeah, what would you do differently? There we go, thank you. Sometimes I'm just like, how do I do? Yeah. Oh, is that Mike? Mic check, Mike? Is that it? Okay. Yeah, looking at things differently, what changes would you make?
Oh, I would be upfront with them.
You would be?
Yeah, be more direct.
You would be upfront and more direct.
Yeah.
Or we can't change that. We're thinking leadership, but we can't affect that, but like top down.
Say that again, though.
We have a phrase like that. It's from the top down, basically. Like if there's, like you said, like a toxic environment, it really starts at the top and then dwindles down in the organization.
I would say majority of the experiences in my previous jobs that have been toxic did not start at the like analyst level. It all
started up top and filtered down.
And so we were all just sort of kind of felt like maybe a collective fight to like fight the toxicity. And maybe that bonds you to the people that are around you because they're in the trenches with you. But it would be nice if the trench didn't last as long as
But even in that position, though, do you feel powerless?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the position where you're just trying to make it through
Yeah.
the job as long as you need to. And I will say again for the video, it was a previous job.
It's a previous job. Everybody is happy at their role at Frito-Lay, okay? This is not about Frito-Lay.
It's a previous job for me.
Previous job.
It felt like we were just trying to get our job done and go home.
Gotcha.
And that was the experience.
So that can be really defeating.
Right, because it's in that case top down. There's not much change you could affect to like lasting change.
Okay. I'm probably going to circle back around to that. Sydney, did you have a question or a statement?
I was thinking, I don't know who asked a question about being a compassionate, empathetic leader and not being a people pleaser at the same time. I think that as a leader, we have to not be afraid to pivot when something is not a better use of our resources. You know what I mean? Like you're spinning your wheels doing something that's not really in your purpose.
Sometimes that means, and this is not about Frito-Lay, but that might mean changing positions. It might mean, changing your focus or something like that. And I think as one thing I'm learning in my season of leadership is to not be afraid to pivot. Like just because I did it this way doesn't mean I have to stay married to that. I could change.
That's good. Thank you. We're just going to keep passing the vote. We'll pass the mic, okay, you all? I'll sit it right here for now. So this actually brings me to, what's going on with this? Hold on. This brings me to a good, I don't know what's going on with this. Hold on. I really want to share this with you. Oh, here we go. One of my favorite activists and authors, poets, James Baldwin. I love America more than any other country in this world, and exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually. You're probably like, what in the world does this have to do with leadership? So you see the first thing it says about the dehumanization of the workforce. One of the things that I've learned in working in the nonprofit sector, and it can be, in corporate America, there are a lot of things that we find that are dehumanizing, right? Do you agree? Raise your hand if you agree with that statement. You find some things that are dehumanizing. And once I started this organization that I lead, I asked myself, why are we doing things this way? Especially in the nonprofit world, what happens is there's an expectation to work so hard at the expense of your health and well-being to support a cause, And so I've always said that I'm not going to sacrifice myself on the altar of service. We shouldn't. Whether that's corporate America, whether that's the nonprofit sector, we should never sacrifice our own selves on the altar of service. Because what use is that? And so with this quote is I feel like we're in a position, no matter what position that you are in, whether you're in a C-suite or entry-level position, if you are working in a role where you like the job, you like the career or whatever, you have the right to criticize. You do. You have the right to criticize. You have a right to ask questions. And you also have a right to say, I don't like it, and I'm going to do something to change it. You may not be able to do something internally, but go out and create something that's different. And so this is what I'm going to kind of get into, what I did with Abide. So my husband's worked in the nonprofit world for years, and I've seen it. I've witnessed how toxic it can be in regards to lack of pay, lack of time off, just this expectation to sacrifice yourself so much for a cause. And when I started Abide, I knew that I didn't want that at all. You know, I was like, we're not going to do that. So we operate on a 32-hour work week. Frito-Lay, learn from us. We operate on a 32-hour work week. We have like unbelievable, like all of our healthcare premiums are paid for. Like, I mean, if we're waiting on big government to take care of our healthcare problem, then we're just going to die waiting. And so we have the power to create change where we are. And so we pay the premiums for all of our staff's healthcare for the staff and the families, and excellent time off, very flex. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And people often ask how. I said, well, every year you work on your budget, right? You budget it. You figure out what is a priority, what is beneficial, what is helpful and useful for the team that's making your organization or company flourish, and you prioritize it, you know? And so I'm sharing this with you because I really feel like oftentimes we get in this rut of thinking that we have to do things the same way they have always been done. And you don't. And I'm also an advocate for the little person, the middle person. I don't have a college degree. When I went to school, I was a dance major. And I eventually wanted to be a dance therapist, you know? And so I got into this work in healthcare just because I saw a problem and I said something needed to be done. And I just did it. Sorry, that's my phone. And so I really want to encourage you all, because no matter what position you're in, whether that's entry level or not, you have the power to influence your community, the job that you're working in, your neighbors, your community, whomever, the world. You have the power to do it. And I think one of the things that stops us from moving forward is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure. One of these things I see. Have you considered that you do not have to be the leader you've been conditioned to be, or like the leaders you have witnessed most of your life? What is preventing you from leading with compassion? Here's another quote. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Audre Lorde. So my encouragement to you is to walk in your power, your vulnerabilities, your strengths. It is unbelievable what you can accomplish when you walk in your strengths. When you shed all of the other stuff that is like you're operating consistently, constantly on a learning curve, but you can finally figure out what is your superpower? Is it compassion? Is it empathy? Don't you dare let anyone tell you that that's a weakness. I was speaking to one of our funders, and because I think for me, one of the fears that I've had, or I wouldn't say fear, I would say that I have been taken advantage of before in my work environment because of my compassion, because of the amount of grace that I give as a leader. you know, and not having adequate boundaries, you know? But those that take advantage of you, it's them that's in the wrong. It's not you. Now, yeah, there are some things that we have to do to refine ourselves. We have to create more and better boundaries, you know, and we also have to be really self-aware and understanding that not everyone is going to understand someone that pursues justice, pursues, you know, operating out of the status quo because they genuinely have a love and affection for the work and for the people that do the work, you know? It's not you. And so one of our funders, she told me, she was like, Cessilye, do not change. Do not change. That is your superpower. And so you know, I just want to reiterate that because sometimes if you're emotional, because I am, yo, I'm a big crybaby. If you're sensitive, if you're a deep feeler, and if you're compassionate, it can oftentimes in these cutthroat work environments, it can come across as if you're weak. When in reality, you're actually so very much in touch with the human experience. And that's what we need more of. Would you agree? You know? It doesn't have to be a either or. Like you can operate like this and just set boundaries, and that is your superpower. It makes for a much better work environment, you know? Let's see here. What are some small ways you can integrate compassion into the leader that you know you are? What kind of policies can you create? Just gonna marinate on that. If you have some ideas, write them down. And this is the next quote. You don't have to think about doing the right thing. If you're for the right thing, then you do it without thinking. You just do the right thing. Man, I'm kind of getting a little sensitive about this because I feel like, y'all, we're human. The person next to you, you don't know their story. You know, you come to work, you spend a lot of time with each other because I'm sure y'all work on a 40-hour work week. But at the end of the day, when you go home, you don't know what's going on unless someone reveals it to you. You don't know what's going on. Everybody has a story, and oftentimes people don't look like what they've been through, more often than not. And so if we're gonna spend most of our days in a work environment, my goodness, like, it should be a place of safety, really, and security. It should be, I feel like your work environment really should be kind of a reprieve from the drama and stress that you may have going on in your personal life. You know, imagine that. If it's not happening right now, anyway, you know. All right, so one of the things I want to share with you all is I want to talk a little bit about collective care. Have you ever heard the term collective care? First time? So I was introduced to this collective care through birth work, through working with organizations like Birth Center Equity, the National Perinatal Task Force, Orchid Capital. And so I want to share a little bit about what collective care is at Abide, the organization that I lead. And how do you know you're over 40 without saying you're over 40?
Thought process? That is wisdom.
This. Okay, so at Abide, we believe that people experience freedom not through self-centered individualism, but through collective care. Collective care is a practice that affirms that when we are recognized and accepted, loved and supported, encouraged to dare to dream, we rise together. We have observed and operated in the typical spaces that attribute success to individuality, accumulation, fame, and pulling ourselves up by our proverbial bootstraps. We want to bring community back, the kind of community that helped so many of us make it through the Middle Passage. Let's see here. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. We want to bring community back. The kind of community that helped so many of us make it through the Middle Passage and genocide, enslavement, and Jim Crow. The kind of community that doused fires, grew collards, braided hair, and birthed babies. And this isn't the greatest slide, but it is what it is. I put this one together at the last minute. So Abide values collective care. And this is what collective care is and why it's so important. It honors the power of togetherness, group responsibility, and group success. It grieves openly and unabashedly when tragedy strikes and pain is experienced. It chooses joy and abundance over desperation and scarcity. Supports people before profit in both policy and practice. It rejects cults of personality because movements happen through concerted effort and lack of ego. It walks beside the hurting and offers tangible support without condescension. It inoculates against the savior complex, since there's always a time when we need and a time when we are needed. It honors bodies through nourishment, protection, healthcare, and considerate observation. It collaborates with community organizations to share information and permit creative solutions. It celebrates the value of shared resources. I feel like you all actually embody collective care through the descriptors that you shared regarding healthy leadership, what makes you a leader. And so my encouragement to you today is that, y'all didn't really need me today. I think you know what you need. I think you know what you want. I think you want compassionate leadership, and I think that you all embody it. Now it's just time to walk on out there and believe it, to break free of these fears that you're holding, to bump the status quo, to speak up unabashedly, and lead. That's all I got for you. Thank you all so much. I'm so proud of you. Y'all are a great group of people. And I'm really looking forward to hearing, what you all decide individually to do next. Because I think y'all got something going on. What'd you say?
We're proud of you too.
Oh, thank you, boo. Thank you, boo.
That's sister cuz.
Thank you, Sitter.
Guys, let's give her a round of applause. The thing that pleases me the most with an event like this is when it's obvious that everyone's on the same page, that the things that we decide to bring to this audience are the very things that you guys hold to be valuable. So that was really incredible. Cessilye, I think you did an amazing job. I absolutely love your energy, and many of the things that you said resonated. So I want to answer some of your questions. When I think of myself as a leader, what word comes up for me? The word that I would use to describe myself is a connector. I'm a connector. I am a powerful believer that we have to do these things together. I was talking to the lady, LaShayla from United Way, and she was telling me things that she thought was awesome about any step. And I kind of started fidgeting in my where I was standing, and I'm like, I'm not really good at taking compliments. And she said that speaks a lot to what kind of leader you want to embody, being humble. So I don't lead with ego. And I do have fear, afraid that perhaps I'm not the person to do this. Perhaps I'm not the person that can move this forward. And the truth is, I'm not the person to do this. But with people like you lifting up my arms, then we can do this together. So I hope there's a lot of takeaways that you guys get from this, because this really, like I said, it resonates with me because these are Any Steps core values. I started to tell you a little bit about them, so I'm going to tell you all of them before we close out. After this, we will have a short break where you guys can talk amongst yourselves, get to know our speakers like Masako or Cessilye, get to know our program director, and you guys know each other, but get to know people in the room you don't know. We have, Keith, what's your last name? Palmer. Keith Palmer from Medwell Solutions, is that right? Medwell Solutions. We have some women here from UT Southwestern. There's a lot of different entities here that you guys can talk with one another. But what we stand for at Any Step is we call it the Build Initiative. It's for balance. And like I said earlier, we cannot give from an empty tank. And so as the person who leads this organization, I have to make sure that the people that I work with, the people that are volunteers, that they're being poured into. So part of my job is also pouring into these people. U is for understanding. We talked about that. We don't want to just walk into a situation and think we have all the answers, because guess what? We don't have all the answers. And some of the people that we're trying to help, they have ideas. They just don't know what to do with them or where to give them. And so we have a place that we serve in Fort Worth. We do healthy food options. And we talk to the lovely older adults or veterans of life, like you said. I love that. And one of the ladies said, I don't want to cook. Okay, what do you want? She said, I want beanie weenies. That's not healthy. So guess what? We gave them beanie weenies because eating is healthier than not eating. And then we put some healthy stuff in there. But it was important to us to give them what they asked for. We got a lovely card from one of our older adults, and she said to us, thank you for making me feel like a human. That is the biggest compliment you can have. She didn't feel like it was a charity case. We met her needs. That's what we try to do. We try to serve the whole person. Another one is I for integrity. Our commitment is to serve honestly and with equity. So we're not interested in race, ethnicity, religion, gender, and all that other stuff. If you need food, that's what we're gonna do. We're not interested in that stuff. That slows us down when we start looking at all the things that divide us. Because right now, did you guys know that I was psychic? Okay, I'm gonna ask a question, but I'm going to tell you how you're gonna answer it, okay? When you are hungry, you want food. Was that right? Can I have a round of applause? Wait, one more. When you're thirsty, you want something to drink. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to show off a little bit. What'd you say? What good shirt? You see how much help I need? I'm just like, what are we talking about now? I completely forgot. We unwavering uphold our mission. We hold our mission. We don't serve hungry children because that's not our mission. Did you know that in the next 6 years that there will be more people over the age of 60 than there are under the age of 18? 1 in 5 children are food insecure, and right now 1 in 7 older adults. And did you know that a lot of older adults are actually raising their grandchildren? So if you focus on maybe feeding the older adults, the children get fed too. And then here's a big one. With this rise in population,
how that's going to affect everybody in this room is it's going to raise taxes because people, when they don't have food, they have to do food banks and food stamps. That raises our taxes. So this is a serious problem that's being overlooked because we automatically think, one way or the other. The collaboration between different organizations, though, can really help this out. Love. L is for love. We infuse our service with compassion, ensuring meaningful connections. I have so many great relationships in this room from working with you people. Cessilye and I hadn't met in person until today, but we have so many connections and so many people that we know together. And so we were able to put this thing on for you guys. And then the last one is dignity. We think that thriving older adults result from holistic and respectful service encompassing their mind, body, and spirit. So we'll be doing more of these symposiums next year, and I hope that you will join us. But I wanted to thank each of you for really giving your attention to us, for throwing out your ideas. I think that I learned some things about leadership from you guys, and that's what I like. I think that everyone should take a posture of being a learner, because no one knows it all. But together, we can make a difference. What did you say, Cessilye? Together we can change. We can't be afraid to change? We can change our world. So thank you, guys.